Hello, thank you for being here. I'm Tony Easter, a volunteer with Respect Voters Coalition. My first experience with the Missouri Citizens Initiative was Clean Missouri. I attended meetings, signed the petition, and held a yard party to get others involved. I was proud of the people's accomplishment, and it hurt badly when it was overturned. That led me here to Respect Voters Coalition. I'm going to share specific details for a deeper understanding of the Citizens Initiative and to inform your input on the survey that will be at the end. So you know when you vote and see those questions on the ballot, Proposition A or Constitutional Amendment 1, those are what we're here to talk about today. The legislature puts most of those on the ballot. A few are put there by citizens. Politicians write the language for both, and they've been getting very tricky and making it harder for citizens. What is a citizen initiative? Ballot measure, initiative petition process, ballot initiative, all these terms mean the same thing: the people's tool to propose new laws or amendments to Missouri's state constitution. It's the people versus politicians. Respect Voters Coalition has a mission to ban power-hungry Missouri politicians from attacking the will of the people, taking away your power. We will use a citizen initiative to protect citizen initiatives. Our coalition passes laws to make government more accountable. Our coalition includes Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Greens, and Independents. Missouri Constitution, Article 1, Section 1 says that all political power is derived from the people, that all government originates from the people, is founded on their will only, and is solely for the good of the whole. It's almost hard to believe, isn't it? That's the Missouri Constitution. Article 3, Section 49, the people reserve power to propose and enact or reject laws and amendments to the Constitution by initiative independent of the General Assembly. And First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantees citizens the freedom of petition. For more than 115 years, Missourians have cherished and used this sacred freedom to limit corruption in government and keep taxes reasonable. When politicians fail to do their job, the Citizen Initiative allows us to come together and solve important issues facing our communities. Missouri is one of 26 states that uses a statewide initiative. Again, Respect Voters is cross-partisan. Politicians have been trying to take away your freedom of the Citizen Initiative and put all the power in their hands for decades. It usually happens after voters pass initiatives opposed by the ruling party. This happened under Democrat majorities in the 1980s and 90s, and now under Republican control. After the Hancock Amendment passed in 1980 to limit taxes, the Democrat-led General Assembly tried to restrict citizen initiatives. Republican Governor John Ashcroft vetoed this bill, defending ballot initiatives as a crucial voter freedom. He criticized politicians who attempted to take away voter power. As Republican former Speaker Carl Bearden said just 2 years ago, neither party is right to attack the people's power to have a check on government. Here are some examples of recent citizen initiatives amending the Constitution from conservatives, libertarians, and liberals, which these all gained majority support. Missourians have amended our Constitution only 31 times using the citizen initiative. The legislature has amended our Constitution 134 times. So when the legislature tries to propose that too many changes are being made to the Constitution, they're the ones who are doing it, not us. In a time of political polarization, Missourians still trust one another. That's why citizen initiatives rank highest in voter confidence for how to make laws. Because it's the people governing ourselves. So a citizen initiative is largely three big steps: write an amendment, collect signatures, convince voters to vote yes on the ballot. In our case, that ballot will be November of 2026. Missouri citizens trust the process because of how hard it is. To get an amendment on the ballot, Missourians must gather about 300,000 signatures from all across the state. That means thousands of volunteers talking to their neighbors in church basements, at town halls, and on street corners. Remember how many more times the legislature has amended our state constitution? That's because while we need to gather 300,000 signatures to put something on the ballot, they need only 51% of the legislature in Jeff City, only 100 votes. Supporters of an initiative must collect signatures in 3/4 of Missouri's congressional districts, which is 6 of 8 districts. In Missouri, the number of signatures required for a citizen initiative is based on the number of votes cast for governor in the most recent election and on what type of initiative it is. Constitutional amendments have to collect signatures equal to 8% of the vote for governor in 6 of the congressional districts. Proposing a law requires only 5% of signatures, but it's easier to overturn. Here are examples of citizen initiatives that were voted into law in Missouri: Puppy Mill Cruelty Prevention Act and Clean Missouri Anti-Corruption Amendment. Clean Missouri took away politicians' ability to influence how their own district lines are drawn. That's called gerrymandering. It allows politicians to guarantee their own reelection, so we can't hold them accountable when they fail to serve the public interest. The ballot summary first said it would change the process and criteria for redistricting. It also banned all lobbyist gifts over $5. Before Clean Missouri, there was no limit on lobbyist gifts. Politicians were given trips to Brazil, expensive sport tickets, and fancy steak dinners. Unfortunately, Missouri politicians are national leaders in overturning the will of the people. The legislature currently has the ability to undo or change citizen initiatives. Only 100 politicians can vote to use the ballot to undermine us. The legislature writes their own ballot language for what they place on the ballot, so they're able to hide their real goals and trick us. This is a major conflict of interest. The ballot language is the words that go on the actual physical ballots that voters see at elections. The ballot language is the most important factor in determining whether voters vote yes or no. So the process for writing ballot language matters a lot. In November of 2020, the legislature wanted to take back their power to gerrymander districts to guarantee their own reelection. So they misled us with the ballot language that they wrote. Clean Missouri had already limited lobbyist gifts to $5. and restricted campaign contributions. Since the legislators couldn't get fancy steak dinners from lobbyists anymore, out of the goodness of their hearts, they said they would ban all lobbyist gifts at the top of the ballot language, and then undo redistricting reforms at the bottom. This type of maneuver is called ballot candy. They got voters to vote yes by misleading us in the ballot language. I knew many people who realized afterwards that they intended to vote no, but voted yes because of this trick. Have you ever been confused by ballot language? I know I have. January 8th began this year's Missouri legislative session with 17 proposed bills to undermine the citizen initiative. It gets worse every year. There are several Missouri organizations that track harmful bills all through the legislative session. They lobby legislators through calls, meetings, testimony, and rallies to block these legislations, sometimes just barely succeeding. And they have to do this again and again every year. It's time for us to go on offense. We can lock in a fairer people's process. Together, we can ban politicians from interfering with initiatives that voters have already passed, attacking citizens' ability to use the initiative, and from manipulating language on ballots to mislead voters. There is precedence for all of this, and even more is possible with your help. Here's how it's been done before. In 2018, Katie Fahey in Grand Rapids, Michigan, working in waste management, not politics, posted on Facebook, "I want to end gerrymandering in Michigan. Who wants to help?" with a smiley face that I think was important. The response was overwhelming. Regular people, almost none of them had worked on campaigns before, figured out together how to run a ballot initiative to end gerrymandering in Michigan. They looked at other states and realized no one was doing it well. They approached establishment groups and funders and didn't get support. They were told they didn't know what they were doing and should just do what other states do. But they said, we want a model that works for our state. So they wrote a policy. They went out and formed statewide and local teams. Together, 4,000 volunteers gathered over 400,000 signatures. Unlike most campaigns, they didn't hire a single paid canvasser. When those 4,000 volunteers needed to raise money, they said, if each of us starts a fundraising page and each raises $10 from 10 friends, we can hit our fundraising goal by the end of the weekend. And they did it. We face the same odds. We take the same approach. We organize people. We never rely on big money or powerful organizations to save us. We welcome help from other groups and donors, but we don't wait for anyone to give the people permission to secure the people's power. In November, voters showed they want change. The time is right to go on offense. With enough volunteers, voters can win any fight. Success would protect past votes, enable future reforms, and inspire other states. Respect Voters began in mid-December and has now more than 1,700 people signed up as of the middle of March. We are now holding town halls, at least 3 in each congressional district, through March and some a little after, to get input from as many Missourians as possible to grow the movement and shape the policy. You are all invited to our policy summit on April 6th in Jefferson City to analyze the data and decide what versions of policy to file. Then, after we get the Secretary of State ballot language and poll on it, we'll decide which version to start gathering signatures. We have to turn them all in at the beginning of next May. Then we get voters to vote yes in November of 2026. We can let billionaires and politicians decide the future of Missouri, or we can recruit 2,500 volunteers to gather signatures for 2 hours per week for 12 weeks. Here are some examples of the things you might consider doing with time that you have available. If you can do one of these things for Respect Voters, that is great. If you have a lot of time, we can find things for you to do that will allow you to focus your energy on accomplishing something positive that you can feel good about. We can build this coalition any way you see fit. We will self-organize into congressional districts, building relationships. This organization consists only of relationships between people, so please join us. In the words of John F. Kennedy, every person can make a difference, and every person should try. And in the words of Ronald Reagan, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Now, if you would like to take the policy survey, you can get out your phone and point your camera at the QR code on the screen. When the website pops up on your screen, select it to go to the online survey. Otherwise, you can go to respectvoters.org/policy as listed below the QR code. Thank you from Respect Voters Coalition.